By the way, did you notice the high cost of food caused by ethanol? And are you interested in solving the oil crisis? Then insist on clarity. Biofuels are touted by reporters, commentators, and politicians as a panacea for solving the oil crisis. But pie-in-the-sky predictions merely cause confusion. We use 8.5 million barrels of oil daily for gasoline, and another 4.5 million for diesel fuel, or a total of 13 million barrels per day of oil for fuel. Can biofuels replace this oil? Here are the substitutes frequently mentioned as replacements for gasoline. They include corn, cellulosic, and sugarcane ethanol, plus a few experimental substitutes. Reporters and others use big numbers to impress people with the importance of corn ethanol. But the 6,500 million gallons amounted to only 0.4 million barrels of oil daily and replaced less than 5% of the oil used for gasoline in 2007. And this doesn't consider the fact that ethanol has less energy than gasoline. If 1/3 of our largest corn crop was used to produce ethanol, it would only offset 0.8 million barrels of oil each day, or less than 10% of our usage of oil for gasoline. Now, cellulosic has received a great deal of coverage, but it is still experimental. But assuming it will become practical to produce cellulosic ethanol, it will only be possible to produce 1.2 million barrels per day, assuming all 30 million acres of unused farmland are planted with cellulosic materials. Optimistically, we might be able to replace 2.0 million barrels per day of oil with domestically produced ethanol. There are, however, serious ethical and economic issues surrounding the use of corn for fuel. But what about importing sugarcane ethanol from Brazil? It should be noted that if Brazil expanded its production of ethanol, it would be sold in the world market, not just in the United States. China, India, Japan, Europe, and others will buy their share of sugarcane ethanol. Brazil has cut its oil imports by using sugarcane ethanol and indicates it could add an additional 200 million acres for growing sugarcane. If they were to do this while maintaining their output ratio of 600 gallons per acre, they could conceivably produce 7.8 million barrels of ethanol daily. This is entirely speculative, as Brazil has not made any commitments and it is not known how long it will take to add 200 million acres. Assuming we can produce the maximum amount of ethanol possible from corn and cellulosic materials, we still won't reduce our use of oil by very much. Imports could play a role if we built E85 cars and the necessary infrastructure to deliver and transport ethanol, while accepting the risk of supply interruptions and negative balance of payments. A study of biodiesel shows almost exactly the same outcome. Soybeans and peanuts are foods, while palm oil has huge negative and economic and environmental consequences. The huge amounts of grease we produce each year translate into very small amounts of biodiesel. Any reporter, commentator, or politician who says or infers we can solve our oil crisis and cut gasoline prices by using biofuels is insincere or uninformed. Please go to Energy Clarity on YouTube to see our first video discussing the relationship between oil and electricity. We hope you have found this information useful. Watch for our next presentation that will focus on wind energy. This presentation has been produced by T.S. August. Additional information is available at www.tsaugust.org. Thank you for listening.